Hey everybody, got another video here for you. So at the end of the last episode, you saw I was drilling the holes for the thumbscrew inserts. And these are the results. And now it's time to put the inserts in. But I couldn't find any more black ones on Amazon, so I had to get some zinc ones. And so I'm going to have to paint them first. I have one black one left, but I'm also going to paint it at the same time just to make sure that the black one and the zinc one that I paint black match. So, this is the last of the black ones. This is the selection kit that it came out of. They have all kinds of these things on Amazon. But I wasn't going to buy a whole nother kit just to get those guys. These are the zinc units off of Amazon also. Now to ensure, and this is the spray paint from Dollar General in a gloss black. And to ensure that this one ends up looking the same as one of these guys when I squirt them both for the back for that guitar, I'm going to hit it up with some sandpaper first to take off this black, or at least scuff it up well. And I'm going pretty fine. I'm going to go 600 because I don't want to leave any deep scratch marks in the surface of this thing. Time to roll the fretboard edges and the ends of the frets. Latest technique that I've tried with success was rolling sandpaper around a needle file and then just taking the needle file out of it and using the roll to do it that way. This time I'm going to try just doing it like this. And yeah, that's going to work even better. Instead of rolling it around this a bunch of times and ending up with a big round roll, this keeps it a nice, tight, small roll. Gets in all the nooks and crannies really good. Well, it's going to take a little bit more than just rolling in order to clean these up. I'm going to have to dress the ends with some files. So, this was the worst one right here. And all I had to do is just take the StewMac flat side down, go like that a few times on both sides. Just take down those bottom corners. And yeah, rolling will fix it from there. So I'll just go, yeah, this one's sharp too. So just knock down that bottom corner. I'm not touching really the side or the top of the fret at all, or the end really either. It's just this one little corner right here. I'm not pressing hard or anything. That's the reason why I'm going back and forth a number of times until I can actually feel the file cutting. And yeah, a little bit of roll. This is going to be good as new. Good as new. Yeah, I'll just check the rest of them and hit up the ones that need it. It's like about every other one on the right side, and I think this is the only bad one on the left side of the fingerboard, so. Rolling the edges would probably be sufficient on about half of these, but just to be safe, I'm going to go ahead and knock down the corners with the file on all of them. I've already done the first 3. And because it would suck to like go in and spot file the ones that seem to be bad, and then roll the whole thing, and come back and check it, and oh, wait a sec, that's still rough. I should have spot filed that thing. So I'm just going to file the ends on all of them, and then roll it. I think what's going on is it's got a little bit of fret sprout, something like that, yeah. Fret sprout, yeah, because it's wintertime and cold conditions, running the kerosene. Temperatures get real high and then real low, and it's real dry, so yeah, it was like, usually this place is around 60 or even 70% humidity in the woods, and recently, after it cleared after a rainstorm and then got cold, it actually dropped to 40% relative humidity here in the shop, which is unheard of. I was actually boiling water in a pan in order to rehumidify the place. So the file slipped a couple times, but I lucked out and no visible scratch marks on the frets. And I just wanted to show you the details of the technique here because I'm getting towards the end. And if you look at a fret from the top, it's got a corner, and you're just going to round off the corner with the file. And so you get up almost against the fret, but not quite. You want to make sure that you're right up against the bottom. And you tilt it a little towards the fret, just once again, because you're trying to get this corner right at the bottom and nothing else. And then you just slowly draw the file back and forth as you rotate it around. That kind of an idea. I gotta get my hand on the other side of the camera here. Just like that. And at all times you're kind of going down this way, and you're also making sure that you're tilting this way so that you make sure that you're staying on that bottom corner at all times. And you don't want to get too intense or you'll start filing into the fingerboard. Speed is your enemy, and pushing hard is your enemy. Just move the file back and forth and let the teeth do the cutting. You'll be able to feel it when it's cutting, and you'll also be able to feel when it's cut it down a bit and it's no longer quite so rough when it's cutting. And then run your finger over it and see if it still feels sharp. And that's all there is to it. You've got to repeat for all four corners. And see what that does is that basically gives you a hot dog end, but only on the very base of the fret. The rest of it's still just beveled and such as normal. And then once you come in and roll, it'll take care of all the rest of that stuff. But yeah, here's a good example. You can see how this is kind of round at the bottom now. And this guy over here is still all square at the bottom, rectangular. Yeah, let me pull the tape off. See if I can do this without throwing the camera out of focus. Okay, so done, not done, not done, not done, not done, 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 done. And see, it's just taking the corners off. Instead of being a rectangle, now they're little points, basically. And then once you roll, that's going to be almost a hemispherical fret end when you're done. The big thing is you don't want to be taking material off the top here, because that reduces your usable fret surface, your intonation zone. And like I said, speed and excessive pressure, or actually any real amount of pressure at all, are both your enemy, because it can cause the file to slip, and then there's a chance that you could mark up the fret and leave a bad scratch mark, bad enough that you have to polish all the frets in order to get everything looking uniform and correct again. Nobody wants to polish a whole set of frets if you don't have to. And I'm talking like, you'd have to go in with 320 and get that scratch mark out. Then you'd have to go in and polish everything up to probably at least 600 or higher. And then you'd have to start hitting them all with whatever you stepped up to next. Let's say you went to 1,000, then you'd start hitting all the frets with 1,000, all the frets with 2,000. And then you'd mask off the whole thing and get out the wheel and the polishing compound. You have to polish all 24 frets just because of that one scratch mark. Just because you pressed too hard or were impatient and went too fast with this little itty bitty file. Yeah, so basically this is a delicate process and patience is required. There's no time, there's no clock in golf, and Rome wasn't built in a day, so I'm going to get back to it. Okay, I just did the bottom corners on the last fret here, and they're feeling much better, but some of them are feeling a little rough on the top, a little on the extremely rough side on the top here. And I think it's a little bit more. I'd probably have to almost get down to 60 grit in order to knock this stuff clean. So I think that instead of just going straight to rolling, I'm going to go back with the half-round crowning file on the wide side and just go from where I first start cutting the fret down to about 30 degrees over, something like that, and just take down that top edge on all these. And then I'm going to roll it. And change of plans for strings. Came across these guys, so I'm going to try some cobalts on this one. Same size, still extra slinkies. 8s through 38s. So this is the rounding process. Got your half round fret crowning file, and it has narrow and wide sides, and I'll be using the wide side. I want all the file to ride on the fret. I don't want the bottom edges of the file, even though they're technically smooth, they're still kind of pointy. And they can leave marks down here, especially if you don't put tape on it. But, so, start down here and I tilt the file up until I can feel the teeth starting to cut, which is about this angle. Just like that. And it makes a lot of noise at first, and then it doesn't. And now that top edge is all round and shiny. And that's all there is to it. I'm going to go ahead and do that on all the frets on both ends, and then I roll it, and everything should look real nice and feel real nice. Okay, I hit all the tops with the wide side of the half round crowning file, and I also came in with a flat file. This actually is for a chainsaw, and I hit the very centers of the frets, just like right there, kind of an idea. Because I'm dealing with fret sprout, and so if there was anything kind of right there in the middle on the side, then none of these other files would actually reach that spot. So I just took this guy and checked, more or less used it to check each one to make sure it wasn't catching on any burrs, and there were no burrs there, and if there were, then I just knocked them off right quick. And now it's finally ready to be rolled. So you heard all the racket this thing was making. The drive cable had come loose from the collet, apparently. And yeah, so not very good. It was just kind of like, I don't know, whatever it was doing. It actually got really hot in the process, and I accidentally grabbed it and kind of burned myself a little bit. But now I've got it properly situated and it's working correctly. You can turn it on and it doesn't go crazy any longer. So, where's switch? Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to work. Nice and quiet, and then you can turn it up and down. Well, you know how these things work. But yeah, if you're ever playing with the flexi cable, just make sure that that you got the cable in that collet good and tight and secure. You don't want things to blow up and overheat and stuff. So, my hand still hurts from where I grabbed that Dremel when the collet was loose from the cable and it overheated. But yeah, a little trick for you there. That's the reason why I'm filming this. This little clip is if you don't have ice handy, metal tool is always going to be nice and cold. And in general, if you have a burn, if you can avoid the ice or having to put something cold on it, then you're not a slave to the ice, which is always nice. Me, this burn is a little bit more intense, and I've got to put something cold on it from time to time. If you ever get a kind of bad burn, bad enough that, even after taking a bunch of Advil and stuff like that, and you're trying to crash, but it hurts too much, get a bowl of ice and put, if you burn your finger or whatever, put your hand in the bowl of ice, and the cold numbs it out, but mostly the cold draws heat away from the wound or the burn and reduces the pain level. And so yeah, you put your hand in the bowl of ice, and then it'll reduce the pain enough that you'll be able to pass out. You wake up in the morning, your hand will be in cool water because it will have all melted, but your hand will also feel much better, and you'll actually be able to sleep with a burn on your hand or your finger or whatever through the whole night, even if it's kind of painful. Trust me, I know. You see all these spots here? Yeah, they're my spots, like Dax on Star Trek on Deep Space Nine. Yeah, half of these are like grease burns from when I was a kid learning to cook, because I was a latchkey only child, and the other half is like hot oil burns from working on hot rods when I was first working on hot rods and didn't know any better. So yeah, they're not age marks, they're all burn scars. So yeah, take my advice. Hot bowl of ice at night, you'll be able to crash no problem. Glass works really good too. And a small object, you're going to heat it up quickly, so especially metal. Yeah, I keep coming back to this glass. It's got like a large surface area, so it sheds the heat quickly. And it's nice and big and cold. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. So until the next one, everybody, have a good one.